Are you interested in learning more about history? How about literature? And what of folk literature? If you said yes, then welcome in the Great Khan's tent. History, literature, and storytelling. In the Great Khan's Tent, hosted by Saf Beg, is a bi-weekly comprehensive episodic narrative podcast focusing on the history, literature, and folk literature from the regions of the Middle East, South Asia, Central Asia, North Africa, Mongolia, and the Russian Far East. We have a number of ongoing series. In our primary series, I will be narrating the 1001 Nights, or commonly referred to as the Arabian Nights. Interspersed within this series will be our focus on the history of the regions I mentioned, interviews, and discussions on many facets that I am sure our listeners would enjoy. So come on in and listen. You can find us on all podcast streaming platforms, on our website in thegreatkhanstent.podbean.com. That's in thegreatkhanstent.podbean.com, or on our YouTube channel in the Great Khan's Tent. I'm sure you'll enjoy listening to our podcast. We hope to see you there.
I'm Felicia.
And I'm Ian.
And we are the Paranormal Lovers.
Hello, paranormal dudes, dudettes, and dudays. Welcome back to another episode of The Paranormal Lovers.
Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
Thanks for
How you
joining
doing?
us. How you doing?
How you doing?
Back for another week, episode 75.
So we just did Deadly Lovers, and it was... so I hope you guys are ready for kind of a palate cleanse, something a little happier.
Yeah, this is... we only have one Patronus.
Yeah.
Love you, Chrissy. Hey, girl.
So you guys sign up, because we got some good
Sign
content on there. It's there's a lot of what the fucks.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of what the fuck from Ian on this one, but on the Deadly Lovers, lots of what the fuck, Jesus Christ, what the hell?
What's wrong with these people?
It's just, he's all over the place. He doesn't do true crime.
No.
Like most
not a
men.
big true crime fan.
Like, and I've noticed this, most men are not true crime people, but once you start getting them into it and they start learning, like, kind of why women are the way they are around men, they're kind of like, okay, I get it. So yeah,
for sure.
You just got to learn about Gary Hodnick. So
yeah,
y'all sign up to Patreon. You can do 1 week free and try it out for a week if you want. We only have one tier, $5, Lover's Lane.
Just sign up for free and listen to that one, because it's just horrible.
It's number 18, so there's 17 more before that of a lot of Ian cussing. But that is over at patreon.com/the paranormal lovers. We also have a sale that's going to start on Saturday.
Felicia does the coolest shirts too. You guys got to check that out.
Thanks, babe. I appreciate that. It'll start Saturday. Keep an eye out on Instagram for that. It's going to be like a coded sale site-wide. So just keep your eyeball on the gram in the books of faces.
Get you a discount code.
Yeah. We have, sorry guys, like I have a hair or something.
Which reminds me, I gotta get a shirt for somebody at work.
Yeah.
For their kid, anyways.
Yeah. I think I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, I think people are gonna get some Paranormal Lover merch for Christmas this year.
That'd be cool. Do some merch.
Yeah.
Merch gifts.
Cause like we get it for like the base rate.
Yeah.
So do some merch gifts.
That'd be cool.
There was something else. I don't remember. I'm sure I'll remember. If I remember, I'll write it down and do it at the end of the episode. But it's Ian's week this week. So what do you got for us, babe?
First off, what did you love about this week?
Oh, yeah. I actually did have something I loved about this week, and I don't remember what the hell it was. Hang on. I have to go through the week in my mind's eye. Like, sorry, guys. Summer break is just like, it's all kind of running together. And I get to start with 2 more kids next week.
Yeah.
My best friend better listen to this someday, and she better know just how fucking much I love her.
Yeah.
Okay? Bitch, I love you. Um, but no, I think Patty getting her bike.
Yeah.
If you guys have been on Instagram, you guys saw that we got her. We like upgraded her to like a big girl BMX bike, and like she's been just up and down, up and down, up and down the road the last
shredding
couple
some
days.
gnar.
She has been like today. I've been watching her take them turns, and I'm like, girl, chill.
Yeah, this bike's got
chill.
like tread on the side of the tires, so like she
Mhm.
could take these real tight turns with it.
Yeah, it's
She
the bike
loves
that
it.
like every kid wanted when I was younger because like
Oh,
it
yeah.
has the pegs on the front so your friends can ride on it and you can
Trick
do tricks. They're trick pegs, but for us, they were an extra seat.
Yeah,
You put your feet right there and you
for
sit your
sure.
ass on the handlebars, and that's how you rode around the town with your friends, you know?
Yeah.
So it's been kind of fun. We've been in the road doing it. So I've been like, car. And I'm like, damn, it feels like 1998 again.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, it's 2024.
Yeah.
All right. What did you love about this week?
Not too much. I had a pretty good week at work, even though it was rough. I've been doing more technical things at work, so I've been kind of using my brain more than my muscles. So that's
I know you
been
really
good.
enjoy that.
I do enjoy that. Like, I never thought that I would grow up and have a job where I use math, but I do now, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is kind of interesting and fun using math.
It is. It really is. Like, people don't, if you're a math person, we're both kind of math people. Like, I love to read, but I'm actually really good at math. I don't enjoy it, but I'm good at it.
Yeah.
But getting into engineering and stuff, if you're into math,
I think I
day
enjoy
long.
it because nobody else there can do it. I'm like,
which is really
all right.
mind-boggling because yes, it is hard work, and yes, you have to be like trained to do it, but it's not rocket science.
No.
It's plastic injection. It's like injection molding. It's what is it? Hydraulic injection.
Yeah.
Molding.
And really,
it's not rocket science.
And really, the math that I did this week was a magplat program.
Mm.
So like, I just measure the mold and like tell the program the dimensions, the weight, where the split is in it, and like.
And for people who don't know, that's one of the molds that's like held on magnetically, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because you do have ones that are held on magnetically, and then you have other ones you have to use clamps and bolts.
Yeah.
Which I prefer the clamps and bolts if you got good clamps and bolts.
I do too, but like I'm using my noggin to like tell it things. So it's I don't know, it's interesting. To me anyways.
Even I kind of enjoyed it when I was there. Like I never really did a lot of the stuff on the computer, but even I could shut off a press and occasionally restart it if I needed it to, and it was kind of fun to be like, oh,
that's
look at this.
That's halfway there, you know.
Science. It was kind of fun. So
yeah,
I'm proud of you. I'm glad that you're getting some training and hopefully moving on up in that place.
Hopefully, yeah.
You've been doing enough. You've done your position long enough.
Yeah, way too much.
You've been doing it since Patty was born.
Yeah.
And I think 6 years is long enough to do such a physical position.
Yeah.
It's time for you to get promoted.
Yeah.
So if anybody from that place that I'm not going to say because he signed an NDA, I did too, but I don't work there anymore. Y'all get him a fucking promotion, make him a damn process tech, and pay him like $30 an hour because you know he's worth it.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Run circles around people in that place.
You really do. And y'all are like, I know some people don't like braggadocious people. He's not bragging. He's being honest about.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just don't. I don't know. He's not. He just does his job. That's just him doing his job.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is you can run circles around people in that place just doing your damn job because nobody else wants to.
Yeah. That's it.
I mean, I don't blame them, but
right.
I used to work there, y'all. I don't blame them for not wanting to do their job.
She knows.
But I also used to run circles around people, so
yeah.
It is what it is. All right. What do you got for us this week?
Okay, so another first off, I guess you guys have probably noticed that we've been rolling out different trailers on our pre-roll before our show. The podcast community that we are in are one of the best communities in the world. I mean,
Absolutely.
they're so supportive and engaging, and like if you need anything, you could just ask somebody, and like they're the greatest. So the people that we have met along the way have been nothing but nice to us, and we feel lucky to have such a supportive group. People, you
I'm
know.
like, even if we never get like morbid or and that's why we drink levels of famous,
Mhm.
like the friendships that we will have from doing this,
Sure.
like I got friends in Minnesota, in California.
Yep.
Like I got friends all over the damn country, and it's amazing.
It is amazing.
Amazing.
So that being said, we're trying to feature different trailers of like podcasts each week, and so uh this week I chose to highlight a podcast called In the Great Cons Tent, which is a podcast hosted by Saif. Is that how you say his name? I mean, I don't know how you say his name, but it's Saif Beg, and it's a bi-weekly podcast. He tells stories that focus on history, literature, and folk literature from the Middle East, North Africa, Central Asia, Mongolia, and the Russian Far East, and South Asia. I took time this week to listen to one of his episodes, and it was the first episode he had. It's called "The Arabian Nights Part 1." If you or you know someone who's interested in hearing about this content, we're gonna put a link in the description for his episode on Spotify. Now, if you guys like the Arabian Nights, this guy's the guy. He's put a lot of work into his story or his storytelling. His reading of the Arabian Nights includes several works of literatures and definitions at the end of the episode, so that like if you don't understand some words, like you can find out what they mean.
That's cool.
Yeah. He also adds some background music for like magical parts of the story that include jinns.
Love gins.
I love stories about jinns and the fantastic things that they can do, and the dark nature of them. Like they're like jinns are not.
I mean, keep in mind, the only exposure I've had to gins is literally supernatural.
Right.
It's not great. I do know a little bit of the mythology of them, but not great in depth. That I should do an episode on that. That'd be great.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know a lot, but I do find them fascinating, and like all the artwork I've ever seen of them, they're like creepily beautiful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They always have like tattoos and stuff, and they just like look at you with the piercing eyes.
The first time he mentioned the jinn in the episode that I listened to, it came in with like a storm, like the rains crept in and thunder was going, and then it was a giant jinn. So like it wasn't like the normal genie in a bottle type thing. It was like a huge giant genie. You know, with this is the part that I liked. It had it had a full size treasure chest on its head.
Tell me about that.
And so like it landed underneath this tree, and the chest opened, and it had another smaller treasure chest in the chest, and then that opened, and there was a woman inside of it. And I'm like, man, that thing had to be like huge.
Yeah, right.
To have a big chest and then a smaller chest and then a woman that fit in the small one. Like, wow. But I really enjoyed listening to his first episode, and I'll probably start listening to the Arabian Nights before bed because Saif has a very soothing voice.
His voice, like I've only listened to the trailer, but I think when we listened to the trailer, I was like, what is voice?
Yeah.
It's so soothing and calming. So yeah, if you're looking for like a sleep story before bed,
great.
Have you some dreams of Arabian Nights?
Yeah. But you guys go check out his podcast and help us help him out.
Yeah.
So,
Go check him out. In the Great Content.
yep. At Apple, I think Apple has him. Spotify, probably iHeart too.
Yeah.
But yeah, go check him out.
You can check him out on Instagram too. So
Yeah, he's on Instagram. But
all right, look at this. We're almost 20 minutes in and we haven't even started yet.
I know it.
People have turned shit
Sorry,
off
guys.
and they've run away.
Okay, so today's episode, I was trying to find alien abduction stories with queer LTGB plus content in it because, as you guys know, it's Pride Month or the start of Pride Month.
I'm here and I'm queer, bitches.
So I originally tried to find that, but I really couldn't find much on the subject. So while I was digging, I stumbled upon, actually Felicia stumbled upon a YouTube channel by the name of Queer Ghost Hunters. So I was like, oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I could do some YouTube because I love watching YouTube.
He really does. That's his thing.
So I just decided to do this episode about their first episode, where the queer ghost hunters go to a rural I hate that word. Rural a rural Ohio town to look for ghosts of lesbian nuns.
Woo! Lesbian nuns.
Yep.
Listen, y'all don't know how many fucking lesbian nuns there are, okay?
For sure.
You're like, oh, they won't get no sex. There's no men. Bitches.
The queer ghost hunters have made it their mission to tell the stories and hunt the ghosts of passed away queer people.
Love it.
Because everyone that had died, not all of them are straight.
They're not. Like I literally was looking up, I was trying to find a couple before I ran on Gary Hodnick. That changed history, and like I ran upon a queer couple that was like two women that I don't remember exactly what they did, but they were from like the late 1800s.
Yeah.
So it's like there really were gay people back then, but they had to be real, real careful.
They did.
They had to be real, real careful.
Yeah. So these guys go to places that are historically haunted and gay.
Yay.
In episode 1, or the episode I watched, they went to a haunted convent just outside of Toledo. Their group is led by Lori Gum, who identifies as a lesbian genderqueer. Their photographer is Victoria Tovar and identifies as a pansexual gender fluid femme.
I'm with you on the pants.
Their EMF specialist is Liam Gallagher, and he identifies as a pansexual trans man. The co-leader is Shane McLeland, who is a cisgender gay man. Am I saying that right?
Yes,
cisgender.
It is cis. It's literally a scientific term, cis.
Right.
It stays the same.
Yeah. They also bring along ghost hunter Scott Priddy. It's Priddy. So, who
Pretty?
He identifies as a bear.
Nice. I know what a bear is.
And videographer Kai Stone, who identifies as a demiromantic trans man.
Also, I would choose that bear.
Right. He looks like a cool dude. Like
they're literally just big cuddly guys.
Yeah, it's just a big cuddly guy.
They're just big cuddly guys.
Yep. Their team researcher is Katie Detro, who identifies as bisexual. Lori and Shane were the ones who started the ghost hunting group when they were discussing ghost hunting one day. And they came to the realization that a lot of the places that are haunted, prisons, churches, mental hospitals, a lot of these people had a lot of gay people in them when they were operational.
Especially hospitals,
because
because like
they would
it's like
say,
a mental illness.
yeah, they would be like, well, he's gay, so stick him in the mental hospital, and because there's something wrong with him, and it's like,
Mhm.
no, he's just gay. There's nothing wrong with him. Like, um, so yeah, that's kind of why they started uh this ghost hunting group,
Yeah.
because they knew that a lot of those ghosts were probably gay. So that's when they decided to put the team together and try to get in contact and hunt queer ghosts.
That's so awesome.
The first place they decided to hunt was the Collingwood Art Center in Toledo, Ohio, that had been a convent back in the 1800s. It was a convent for over 80 years. The nuns that had resided there were historically known to be lesbians. Maybe not all of them, but some of them for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The house was originally built as a single family's dream house, but eventually the nuns bought it. The front of the house is an old private residence, but the back was a convent for a long time. It's a big old beautiful haunted house. You're looking up pictures of it.
Well, yeah. Why, yeah.
Everyone knows the jokes
Oh my
about nuns
God.
being lesbians.
It is beautiful.
But historically, around 400 AD, there's been a lot of lesbians in and around the church. And probably gay men too. Like,
You said this was Toledo, Ohio?
Yep.
Huh. Holy shit, didn't we just talk about Ohio?
Maybe.
Gary Hodnick was from Ohio.
Was he?
A little.
Ugh. The women back then who didn't feel comfortable getting married felt like being a nun was the only choice that they had. The nuns had a special name for women who were lesbians. They called them particular friends, or PFs.
Yeah, they were just really good friends. They lived together for 40 years in their Victorian mansion with their 10 cats. The best. They died in the same bed together. They were just comforting each other. The best of friends.
Yeah. The team starts out by stopping by the old graveyard for the convent. It had rows and rows of old graves where most of the nuns in the convent were buried. It has many gravestones and statues of nuns from the convent.
Yeah.
It was a whole field of just women.
I am looking at a picture of a statue of a nun with like a little boy at the end of a corridor against a window.
Mm-hmm.
That shit's creepy as fuck.
Right.
I don't like it.
It is a pretty creepy place.
Mm-mm.
All these women died from about 1850 and on. Team member Kai walked among the team's tombstones there and tried to pick up on some of the energies there. He reaches out to these women and picks up on two words: longing and belonging. Team member Kai has Asperger's, which is a spectrum of autism, and which means he can kind of sometimes pick up on things and energies that other people can't.
Mm-hmm.
Kai is passionate about finding genderqueer ghosts. Kai feels like talking to these nuns is important so that they may be able to move along instead of being stuck there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're a ghost and you're like got this pinned up I don't want to say gay feeling, but like, if you're in the closet for hundreds of years and then somebody comes along that you can tell them about it, then you might be able to move along.
Yeah, because you've
kind of
you're literally you died in a convent in a place of religion, which has told you that the fact that you love the same sex is a sin and you're going to go to hell forever.
Yeah.
And instead you end up getting stuck as a ghost in this place. And so then you have I can't imagine this nun ghost is just like sitting there and this little like twink comes running in the door and he's like, bitches, this? And they're like,
Who the hell's that?
what? They're like, it's okay to be queer now. And they're just like, no.
Right.
Yeah, I can imagine it's like, I don't know, almost a relief.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit, like, so we can be like out and proud now, like we
Right.
couldn't 200 years ago.
Right.
Like, that's amazing.
So Lori, the group leader, leads a coming out in front of the rows of graves, letting the nuns know that the ghosts are queer, or that the ghost hunters are queer, and that it was okay to be that way.
You okay over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good.
I know you get a little emotional sometimes. And it is like, I guess I can see that you can understand how this would be an important
Sure.
thing.
I think anybody could. Like,
No,
I just need to be open-minded.
no, there's plenty of people that absolutely cannot understand how people would think it's okay
Right.
to be gay, pray the gay away.
Well, they're stupid.
Yes, listen, you ain't telling me nothing I don't know.
Right.
I didn't leave the church after 20 years for shits and giggles.
Right. But so Lori hopes that this will pique the ghost's interest in talking to the group about the queer experiences that the nuns had had. Lori invites the nuns to come with them and to ride in their car back to the convent to come talk with them. Lori imagines what it would be like being in the convent when there are literally hundreds of women all on their period at the same time. It's real stressful.
I can imagine it's more like just like a cycle. I bet you have like this hall goes on at one time, and then this
the other
next
hall.
week it's this hall, and then the next week it's this hall.
Right.
And it's like you got like 20 women at 1 week that are just like, Jesus, help me before I kill this bitch.
That side's giving us this flack.
I can't imagine if any of them had PMDD.
Right.
Like, oh God, they were like, she's possessed by a demon.
That's probably the leaders.
Right.
The head ones.
Right.
The real mean head ones that like to box.
The mother.
Yeah.
Instead of a sister, she's the mother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the team arrives at the Collingwood Art Center. Normally is only visited by art students and hipsters. They set up their equipment and they make a plan for their ghost hunt. They will be asking the ghosts that reside there about their lesbian experiences that some of the nuns had. They want to help the ghosts in the place find peace and feel free to be themselves. By the time they get their equipment all set up, the sun had already gone down and the covenant was dark. Liam, Victoria, and Kai head down to the basement of the convent to do a session. Liam is a very skeptical guy. Victoria is a very emotionally driven, so they kind of make a good team.
Yeah.
But Victoria, as a photographer, is always looking for orbs and stuff of that nature. Old art leftovers and old nun artifacts litter the basement floor and give off a cluttered energy of a time not yet forgotten. The rest of the team joins them as Victoria leads them in a dowsing rod session. So the main way that they, try to talk to the ghosts is by dowsing rods. Now, if you guys don't know what dowsing rods are, just kind of look them up.
They're typically 2 copper pieces of metal that are bent into an L shape. You hold it in your hands like this and you walk, and it's supposed to, you can walk or you can stand still, I guess, if you're messing with ghosts.
Yeah.
Ghosts will move them if they're there, but you can also use them to find water.
Yeah.
By walking along your property, and if it meets water, it'll cross over.
Yeah. The old timers used to use them to find water, and some people even now use them to find gold and I guess talk to spirits.
Yeah, there's a guy on Instagram, the Appalachian Sun. He actually has a video he put up a couple of weeks ago where he got 2 dowsing rods. He actually made them out of those flags that you use for surveying.
Yep.
He made them out of those, and he like went out in his yard and used them, and it crossed right over where his water line was at.
Yep.
So it was pretty cool. Y'all go
Yep.
check him out too. He's got some real interesting stuff on there about
Yeah.
Appalachia.
So, in the queer ghost hunters case, they ask a series of yes or no questions, and if the spirits answer yes, the dowsing rods cross. Um, and if they do no, they like go away from each other. They ask if any spirits are present in the basement of the covenant. They introduce themselves and gender roles as Liam watches the EMF detector closely. Victoria tells the spirits that they support the spirits and are just there to learn more about them. After trying several times to contact any spirits in the covenant, Victoria hands over the dowsing rods to Scott to give him a chance to talk to them. Sometimes spirits are picky about who they want to talk to. Scott generally gets more male gendered spirits that want to talk to him. Uh, One of the first questions was, "Are we speaking with a nun?" And the dowsing rods immediately move to the yes position. Also, Liam gets massive EMF readings at the same time as the answer it comes to yes. Several minutes pass, and the rods and the EMF detector and the spirit becomes less responsive, or the spirit became less responsive. It's almost like the spirit wasn't interested in talking to a bear or a gender fluid pansexual.
Talk to the bear, ma'am. I promise. It's safe. Safer.
Scott asks if there's a specific member of the group that the spirit would be interested in talking to. The dowsing rod points to yes. The EMF detector spikes again. Scott asks the spirit if they could point the dowsing rods toward the person that they want to speak to most. Slowly, they turn toward Lori. "Oh," Scott exclaimed.
Well, duh. They're lesbian nuns, y'all.
Right. Whoever the ghost was had something to say to Lori. It's approaching 12 o'clock at night, so Scott hands the dowsing rods to Lori. She asked the spirit if they were the one that was lighting up the EMF detector, and immediately she got a strong yes from the rods. After a couple of minutes of continual responses from the spirits with the dowsing rods, Lori pops the question that is on everyone's minds. She explains that they are a group of people where women can openly love women and men can openly love men, and asks the spirits if they are of the same persuasion. Again, the dowsing rods point to a strong yes. She tells the spirit that it was an honor to meet them and that they have a safe space to talk about such things with them. The group feels it's important for these entities to tell their story so that they could be at peace with who they are. Lori asks if the spirits was in love with another sister. Again, the dowsing rods point to yes. The basement is under an old theater that was being used for an art show that night. The dowsing rods and EMF detector continues to give responses for Lori's questions. Lori was amazed at connecting with another lesbian who existed 100 years ago or more.
That's insane.
All of a sudden, while talking with this spirit, Liam sees a white shadow passing into an old storage room in the basement. So he just kind of sees something out of the corner of his eye. I think the spirit, spending many years alone in the closet, they wanted to reveal themselves to the group of like minded people. Liam asked the spirit why they were interested in speaking specifically with Lori. He also asked the spirit if it was because that they found Lori attractive. The dowsing rods pointed to yes again. Lori blushes and says that she likes the spirit too. Lori really wants to know the name of the spirit, so they start spitting out names. Um, Lori asked if it was Mary, and the rod said no. She runs through several more common names: Margaret, Magdalene, Maggie, Martha, Mabel. The whole time a name is popping into the head of the bear. Scott says Mad, Madeline, excuse me.
Mandolin.
There's a lot of M's. But so Scott pops out with the name Mandolin or
Madeline.
Madeline. And the rods turn to yes. Lori tells the spirit that it was nice to meet Madeline, and the rods again strongly point to yes. The session was coming to an end, so Lori asked if she could talk personally with Madeline later, and the rods turned to yes. The night was almost over, so the team breaks into smaller groups to cover more ground, like you usually see in ghost shows.
Mm-hmm.
The team received special permission that night to go into one of the nuns' personal bedrooms upstairs. Lori and Shane teamed up to head to the upstairs room. The two times Lori has been grabbed by spirits, she was standing by Shane. Lori claims he is ghost bait. Shane claims that spirits feel comfortable touching him and revealing themselves to him. Shane says he has sensed their presence since he was very young. Lori says it's like he's a barometer of spirits. They just kind of stick him in a room and see if he's tingling.
Right. See if he's tingling.
While Lori and Shane are upstairs, they start a more intimate session. Or while they head upstairs, they head upstairs and start a more intimate session, and immediately start getting responses from the same nun spirit. Lori asks what the ghost liked about her, if she liked her hair. The response was yes. Lori asked if the nun had brown hair. The response was yes. Shane noticed orbs like flying around her at the same time as she was asking these questions, because he was the one videotaping, because it was just him and her.
Right.
So and I seen it on the YouTube episode I watched. There was a little orb that just flew by while she was talking to him. Lori asks the spirit, or wait. Lori asks if that was the spirit, and the rods pointed yet again to yes. The next day, the team assembles for their usual debrief. Kai reveals that he had made contact with another entity while at the convent, but it was a very different spirit than the one Lori had talked to.
Uh-oh.
It was a mean nun.
Yeah.
A very mean and toxic nun. The team said it was the scariest part of the night. The angry nun had passed her rage onto Kai. She had imprinted her rage upon him.
Don't like that.
Kai and his group were hunting in the theater, where a notorious ghost of one of the head nuns resided.
It's always them head nun bitches.
Yep. She is known for throwing things at people in the theater.
Throw shit at me, bitch.
She is described as angry and hate-filled, and usually sits in the balcony in the theater. Kai reaches out to this angry ghost in a session they did on the stage of the theater. He feels like he could connect with her because of his understanding of anger. He attempts to relate with the ghost from his own personal experience, and as he is telling the ghost about himself, he sees someone up on the balcony. It looked like someone was walking through. So then all of a sudden, he felt like he was drawn to that spot where he saw, or where he saw them. He goes up on the balcony and he reaches out with his mind to try and make a connection. Almost immediately, Kai's demeanor changed. He became agitated and enraged. He starts to feel the emotions of the angry nun and all of her rage, so much so that it starts to scare him. The team members watch from a distance up on the balcony. Scott was sitting a few rows away from him, and he said that he felt like someone was watching him from behind.
Mm.
And then he turns around and he actually saw someone sitting there a few rows behind him. It scared the bear so much that he got up and left. He had to get up and walk out because he was scared.
Okay, listen, they're called bears, but they're just big cuddly bears. They're like teddy bears,
Right.
not grizzly bears.
Right.
Okay, teddy
So-
bears, not grizzly bears.
Right. Kai also became riddled with fear. He also had an instinctive urge to leave, but his instinct drew him out into the hallway, kind of away from the group. He said he felt like she was pulling him down the hallway towards the now art gallery. Kai believed that the ghost was trying to convey to him that she was angry that the convent was now an art gallery, that she didn't want all of those paintings and things in her convent.
Tough shit, bitch. You did.
He said like she felt like her home was being desecrated.
Okay, I can kind of get that.
Kai says as soon as she shoved him into the art gallery that she left. Kai's okay, and he feels like he has some closure with the angry nun, but we'll sit the next hunt out.
I don't blame him on that one. Also, if I can wear obsidian, y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all go hunting for ghosts. Wear obsidian. It's
For
a
sure.
natural stone to block negative stuff.
Yep.
Wear obsidian, have some salt, iron,
Yep.
get you a supernatural tattoo.
Now, remember how Lori had invited the nuns in the graveyard to come
Take a
with
ride
them
in her
in
car.
her car back to
Yeah.
the convent?
Mm-hmm.
Well, 2 weeks later, strange things started happening at Lori's house.
Lori, you got stalked by a ghost nun. It's
Yep.
the invisible man, but a nun.
Her dad so she lives with her parents, and her dad had this huge set of like keys with a big key ring on it. One day, 2 weeks after they came back, they mysteriously went missing. 2 days later, a set of the spare keys went missing. So then a little bit after that, Lori's like she drives a truck instead of the car that she drove there.
Mm-hmm.
Her truck key that was hanging on the wall went missing. So 3 sets of keys in 3 days went missing. Lori thinks that she brought something home from their investigation.
She's getting stalked by a dead lesbian nun.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, I like you too, dead nun." And the nun was like, "Bet, I'm coming home with you, bitch."
So, and then the bats. Lori and her parents have lived in the same house for over 25 years. So then a day or two later, after the keys, a bat got into the house. Her father caught it with a big fishing net. But so the group decided to go to Lori's house and try to get the spirit out of her house. It's definitely not a good idea to invite any spirits into your car or your home.
Unless they're your ancestors.
Right.
If they're not your ancestors, don't invite them.
It definitely seemed like a queer entity had joined Lori's family. Many queer people make a family of choice because they're rejected by their blood family.
Yeah.
Scott hasn't seen his family in like 20 years because all the hate that he received for being queer. sometimes it's just better to leave a poisonous and toxic relationship, even if it is your own family.
I did it wasn't because
Mhm.
I was queer, but I ended up cutting off my own dad for like 10 years.
Yep.
And it was what was best for my mental health.
Right. So there will always be better families that will accept you for who you are.
Always. And if your family doesn't accept you and you're listening to this podcast, I'm your mama now.
Yeah.
And that's your daddy over there.
So
Just
there was two contacts that they made at the convent. One was the nice lesbian nun, Madeline. The other was the angry, spiteful nun in the
Sister Mary,
theater.
I'm gonna call her Sister Mary Joseph because she feels like a Sister Mary Joseph.
Yeah. So it was time to determine who had followed Lori home. They set up their equipment and began to have a session in Lori's home. Right away, they made contact with the dowsing rods. Lori asked if the spirit took her parents' keys, and the rods pointed to yes. She asked if they had met before, and the answer was yes. She asks if the entity is Madeline, and it said yes. This group of queer ghost hunters are amazing people.
Queer
And
ghost hunters?
yep,
Okay. It sounded like you said ghost hunters.
no. This group of queer ghost hunters are amazing people. And if you want to find out whether or not Lori was able to get Madeline out of her house, or whether she decided to let her stay and join her family, go watch their channel.
I mean,
Because I enjoyed researching this one. And I'll
like,
probably keep watching them.
if she didn't cause problems in my home,
Right.
and if she wasn't trying to like hurt you because she's jealous,
Right.
I wouldn't have a problem having a dead nun in my house.
Yeah.
Like, it's a nun. Like, it's like one of the holiest things you can have in your house.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, you want it to fight some demons for you? Have a dead nun.
These guys, they're really fun to watch, and they warm my heart. So
Yeah,
I'm not queer, but I love them.
your wife is.
So that's my episode on the queer ghost hunters and lesbian nuns.
Yay!
What do
that was
you
real
guys
good.
think?
I appreciate that. I was like, we have to find something for Pride because
Yeah.
I fucked up, and mine are all Jewish this month because I thought it was Jewish Heritage Month and Pride
Right.
was next month. I have Pride stories coming next month, y'all. I'm sorry. But yes, we here at the Paranormal Lovers, I am queer. I am pansexual. I've been out since I was 12 for 25 years. Back then I was just bi. But, things change. And I am one of those people that I don't care what gender you are, what you identify as. I want to know who you are as a person, and I will fall in love with that. And whatever you have down there, we'll work with it.
Right.
We'll work with it. So, again, if you have family that has denied you or thrown you out because you're gay, we your family now.
Yeah.
Our DMs are always open. Hit us up. Well, thanks for finding that. I'm glad you enjoyed it. You'll have to go watch the rest of their videos.
Yeah, I got to find out what happens.
For sure.
I didn't have time to like.
So you
keep
actually
going.
had to stop right there.
I couldn't. They have like part 1s, part 2, part 3,
Yeah.
part 4, part 5, so it like keeps going. So
yeah, you guys are gonna have to go check them out on YouTube and find out what all happens. They're also on Instagram. I just went and followed them on Instagram.
nice.
They haven't had any post in a while, but
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they'll pop back up at some point on
For sure.
there. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us. If you would like to support the podcast, you can head on over to Patreon, patreon.com/paranormal lovers. Give us a follow over there at the $5 tier. You can try it out for 1 week for free. Listen to all the episodes. And if you decide you want to listen to some more horrible, horrible things that the humans can do to other humans
Yeah.
and animals sometimes, yeah, follow us over there. Again, we have a merch sale coming up that starts this Saturday. You guys keep an eye on Instagram, and I will post about that. You can give us a follow on Spotify, iHeart, Apple Podcasts. Rate us, give us a 5-star rating and a good review, please. If you don't, I'm just gonna delete it. I don't fuck with negative comments. Like,
Yeah.
I don't fuck with the negativity. I'm not gonna read it. I'm just gonna delete it.
Right.
I ain't got time for that. I'm almost 40, y'all. I ain't got time for that shit. If you would like, you can give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, even though I haven't really done anything on the TikTok, but nobody's following us, so I don't really give a shit. And is that it?
I think that's it.
You can send us an email at theparanormallovers@yahoo.com if you would like to send us a personal story, topic request, to tell me to quit cussing so damn much, even though I will not. I won't. And I think that's it. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.